The Nautilus Venture rode the swells like a cathedral of steel and purpose, anchored over 2 miles of water.
Her deck was an industrial plaza, equipped for the deepest salvage operations known to man.
A team of 16 moved with the efficiency of countless missions, performing final checks against the October chill.
Suspended at the stern, the Deep Ranger awaited deployment. A marvel of pressure-resistant engineering.
With a mechanical exhalation, the A-frame swung the submersible out over the open ocean. The winch unspooled, and the Deep Ranger was swallowed by the steel-gray ocean.
Zealot to Jezebel.
The descent became a slow pilgrimage into an alien realm. At 200 feet, absolute darkness took hold.
Life here told a story of adaptation. Lanternfish created constellations. Jellyfish trailed glowing tentacles.
Inside the titanium sphere, the crew monitored systems. The pressure outside could crush a submarine.
At 10,847 feet, the bottom appeared. A plain of sediment, the accumulated death of millennia.
The submersible settled on the ooze with surprising gentleness. The mission clock began. 8 hours.
Then, debris, coal, a plate, a porthole, breadcrumbs leading back through time. It materialized with shocking suddenness. The SS Regina Fortuna, lost since 1927.
She lay upright, her superstructure collapsed, but her hull largely intact. A ghost of luxury.
The greatest risk, entering the wreck itself. Corroded steel and 73 years of decay.
Inside, time had dissolved the wood, leaving skeletal corridors. Their lights pushed against the sediment fog.
With 50 tons of force, the door yielded. History rushed out in a cloud of disturbed silt.
When the water cleared, they saw it. Neat rows of steel boxes, waiting.
The first box revealed the dull gleam of gold. Valuable, but not the true prize. On the upper shelves were reinforced cases. Through the acrylic, the glint of precious artistry. Another case held diamonds in diplomatic pouches. Rough stones holding captive fire. The first lifting cable was secured. A thread connecting the abyss to the world above.
Their ascent began. The wreck faded below, a secret returning to its keeping.
They surfaced in darkness to a ship ablaze with light. The first chapter was complete.
Weeks blurred into rhythm. Gold was brought up first. Then, the delicate artifacts required special care. The first capsule opened with a hiss. The cold, metallic smell of the abyss filled the room. Inside lay a mahogany case, transformed by decades on the seafloor. Barnacles dotted it like pale stones.
Hours passed. Water baths drew out salt. The true wood emerged from its coat of time.
The brass brightened, revealing a Parisian maker's mark. The latch, after treatment, finally gave.
A Patek Philippe, commissioned for a railroad magnate.
Its perpetual calendar stopped forever at 2:03 a.m.
A Cartier pendant watch, 57 diamonds, and enamel work that miraculously survived.
Rubies from Burma, sapphires from Ceylon, emeralds from Colombia, each a lottery of Earth's deep chemistry.
The movements required masters. In clean rooms, tools familiar to the original creators revived mechanical poetry.
3 months of meticulous work, stabilizing, analyzing, reviving. A multidisciplinary resurrection.
Lights rose. The transformation was total. Gold glowed. Gemstones fractured light into rainbows.
Here was the material evidence of an age. Wealth, craftsmanship, and value that justified the impossible journey.
They had reached across depth and time. They had brought back what the ocean had claimed. The last capsule ascended. The ocean, for now, had given up all it would.
Look at the etching here. It matches the preliminary scans.
Incredible. The detail is still perfectly preserved.
After all this time.
With the final hiss of pressure, the last chapter of the salvage was physically present.
The cleaning began. Beneath the grime, tooled floral patterns emerged from the leather.
The brass brightened, revealing a monogram, the initials AVC, linking the case to a person.
The clasp resisted the decades, then yielded with a definitive click that echoed in the silent lab.
A journal. Its pages, sealed by pressure and time, potentially held a different kind of treasure. The first page was blank. The second held an inscription, ink bleached by time but still holding its shape.
For the historians, this changed everything. The manifest listed cargo. This could list lives.
The journal required weeks of controlled drying, removing moisture without damaging the fragile paper.
With gloved hands, the historian turned the first page. The script was the elegant cursive of a lost era. The first entry spoke of calm seas and peculiar melancholy. A tone was set from the very beginning. Then, a shift. A note about the captain's concern. The barometer was falling unnaturally.
The entries grew terser. The shuddering of the ship. The flickering lights.
The final entry was unfinished. To whoever finds this, tell Eleanor the Firth. The sentence was severed.
At dawn, the captain looked upon the coordinate that was no longer just a salvage site, but a grave site.
Word spread through the crew. The celebration of recovery was now tempered with a new, sober understanding.
Their work continued, but the objects were now relics, not just of wealth, but of final moments.
Before departure, they held a simple ceremony, a wreath for Alistair Croft and for the 142 others.
The Nautilus venture turned for home, leaving the deep to its silence once more. Back on land, the full scope of the recovery was documented, every artifact cataloged. On a separate table lay the journal and pens. Their value was incalculable, but not financial.
At the auction preview, the world's wealthies admired the horological masterpieces under perfect light. The gems drew gasps. Transformed from rough stones, they now held the promise of adornment.
Visitors met the ghost of Alistair Croft. They were confronted with the abrupt stop of a human thought.
A museum created a permanent exhibit. It presented not just treasure, but context, the luxury and the loss.
Children looked at a simple plate. A teacher explained it was last used for a first-class dinner in 1927.
Next to the restored watches, footage played of their recovery from the abyss. A bridge of technology between eras.
One day, an elderly visitor sat there for hours. She held a photograph against the glass.
The photograph showed Alistair with a young woman. On the back, in modern handwriting, Grandmother Eleanor.
She spoke to a curator. The message, after nearly a century, would finally be delivered.
Eleanor Croft had lived a long life. She had married again, raised a family. But she had kept the photograph.
Her granddaughter brought the story full circle. The unfinished sentence could now find its rest.
And far out in the Atlantic, the wreck of the Regina Fortuna settled deeper into the sediment.
The submersible's lights had come and gone. The darkness returned, a guardian of secrets kept and revealed. The artifacts endured, now witnesses to a new century. They carried their beauty, their history, and the quiet weight of their journey.
The journal was digitized, its fragile pages saved forever. It took its place among other stories of the sea.
Alistair Croft's words entered the digital ocean, accessed by historians, the curious, and families searching their past.
In a workshop, the Breguet tourbillon was wound. For the first time in decades, its balance wheel spun.
The auction began. Paddles rose, numbers climbed. The past was being quantified in the present.
The hammer fell. The watch had a new custodian, its journey continuing.
It came to rest in another vault, its value secure, but its story perhaps paused once more.
The team leader gave lectures. She spoke of engineering, of oceanography, and of the ethical weight of recovery.
That student would later pursue marine archaeology. The story of the Regina Fortuna was a seed.
For the captain, the logs were closed, but the memory of his crew's skill in the Atlantic gales remained.
The pilot traded the abyss for coastal waters. The deep
was always there, in the back of her mind.
The great diamond was cut, polished, and inscribed. It became a thing of pure, flawless light and official record.
Its journey from deep earth to deep ocean to vault was now encoded in its very structure.
It would grace a neck, be admired at galas. Its brutal geological and maritime history unseen beneath its fire.
Years passed. The artifacts were re-examined with new technology, revealing even finer details of their creation.
Microscopy showed the subtle, permanent signature of the deep, fine cracks in enamel, a record of pressure.
A documentary was made. The team leader spoke calmly of the technical challenges and of the journal.
The documentary included a tasteful recreation. The final moments of Alistair Croft's entry.
We brought up treasure. But the most human thing we found was an unfinished sentence.
The wreck site is now protected by maritime heritage law. No further salvage is permitted.
Scientific visits continue, studying the wreck as an artificial reef, a record of steel corrosion in the deep.
The child learned about a man she was connected to by a fragile thread of memory and ink.
She would look at the ocean differently, knowing it held stories, not just water.
The Deep Ranger was eventually retired. Her pressure sphere had made its last descent. She became a museum piece herself, a testament to the engineering that could visit the unreachable. And the ocean, as it always has, kept its own counsel, holding countless other Regina Fortunas in its dark, patient embrace. The sentence remains unfinished, but in its breaking off, it speaks more eloquently than any ending could.
In a workshop in the Alps, far from the sea, a new watch was being born. The craft endured.
The captivated student became a researcher. Her tools were autonomous, but the mission was the same: to see the unseen.
She sought not treasure, but knowledge. The true wealth of the deep was its mystery. The team leader kept a relic of the mission, a simple, salt-stained tablet that had once held the wreck's blueprints.
With the proceeds from the journal's reproduction rights, the family placed a stone for Alistair, a symbolic resting place. The entire collection was digitally immortalized. Every scratch, every patina, captured in light.
Scholars worldwide could now study the pieces without flying to a museum. The past became perpetually accessible.
It's the falling that gets me. Endless and silent. Not all legacies were easy.
She was learning to carry the depth, not be consumed by it. The human mind was its own pressure sphere.
The company built a new vessel, the Nautilus Venture 2. Its mission profile was broader: science, archaeology, rescue.
The old captain consulted. His stories of the North Atlantic weather were now part of the ship's institutional memory.
The journal became a case study in ethics. It forced the industry to look beyond manifests and valuations.
The diamond necklace moved between vaults, a prisoner of its own value. Its beauty was a burden.
In another extreme environment, other researchers drilled into time. The past was also preserved in ice, under pressure.
She turned her gaze upward. The ultimate deep, the ultimate pressureless void. A new frontier.
The same human drive to explore that sent a submersible down would send spacecraft out. Different medium, same imperative.
The story entered classrooms. It was a tale of adventure, technology, and a poignant letter from the past.
They're proof that someone cared enough to make something beautiful a long time ago.
An artist photographed the artifacts, not as treasures, but as weathered objects, sculpted by time and the sea. In 1,000 years, the wreck will be a faint, metallic anomaly in the sediment, a story told only to geology.
The digital ghosts, however, could persist. Zeros and ones in climate-controlled halls, a new kind of afterlife.
Their stories were safe, yet anonymous. Just another stream in the vast digital ocean.
I never felt more alive than holding us steady over that spot, knowing what was below.
Life, interrupted on the Regina Fortuna, flowed on in other branches. On a beat,
the child let the kite go. A small release.
He saw himself, ghosted over the words. A connection across time, fragile and wordless.
The imperative to explore moved onward, from the deep ocean to the deep sky. The same species, reaching.
It rose, leaving the world of water and pressure behind, carrying new dreams into a different kind of deep.
And the sphere, just titanium, a shape perfected to resist collapse, empty now, but holding the memory of pressure.
Someone, compelled, touched it, feeling not the cold metal.
The ocean at night, under stars. The same view Alistair Croft might have seen from the deck, before the fall.
It began with a shape in the dark.
And it left us with an absence. A dash.
A drop of seawater, holding a world in its curve, the medium of both preservation